Alrighty, ladies and gents, I have a new GoPro light here hooked up to the dash mount, and I also have a new microphone, so let me just get it situated. It's probably making a ton of noise, but there we go. Hopefully that microphone isn't picking up all the onboard mechanics going on within the camera. I really hope that that isn't the case, but regardless of that, I do have a new setup. It's really nice having this light, although it's a little too bright. If I look at the camera too long, it kind of blinds me. So I'm going to look off into the distance while I make this video. But there's just so much to talk about. That's one of the beautiful things about having a YouTube channel. If you have a lot on your mind, if you have a lot of things that you just feel like you need to express, video making can be a beautiful medium for doing that. It can be a great way for you to let stress off of your shoulders and to get things off of your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Many people who are conscious, many people who have anxiety, things of that nature, they just have things on their chest that they want to let go of. So having a little YouTube channel, being able to talk about the things that you're passionate about, can relieve some stress, and you can kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, because you can usually help people in the process. So I started making YouTube videos about 2 years ago, but before I even started putting them online, I would record videos in my car of me talking just to myself, because there were certain things that I needed to let out. It can help to vocalize things that you're going through. And it wasn't until I started reviewing my videos that I had recorded that I felt motivated to start putting them up onto the internet for people to watch for free, because I felt like through my struggles that I've been through with Kundalini, with health, with cleansing, with trying to achieve radiant health, and things of that nature, due to my struggles with all of that, I felt like people could learn from what I was talking about. So I wanted to go out of my way right now to thank all of my subscribers, to thank everyone who's donated to my cause. It feels really good to know that people are watching these videos daily. I mean, about a week and a half ago, I was looking at my YouTube analytics, and in one day there was 13 days worth of viewing. 13 days worth of content was viewed in 24 hours. But on average, each day right now, with the size of my channel at about 4,300 subscribers, each day I'm getting between 4 to 8 days worth of content being viewed. So to me, that's a huge success. I know that many people have many more views, compared to many of the YouTubers out there. I'm small potatoes. I mean, there's people out there with over 10 million subscribers, but I am slowly climbing. I remember when it was a struggle just to get my first 100 let's rephrase that. I remember when it was difficult and lengthy just to acquire my first 100 subscribers. But once you get to 100 subscribers, you start working to get 200, and then 300. Before you know it, you have 1,000. Once you get to about 1,000 subscribers, it starts to pick up a lot more, in a much more rapid fashion. But I didn't create this channel to acquire large amounts of subscribers. I know that due to the content that I'm talking about, that not everyone's going to be able to resonate with this information. I know that if I approached it from more of a simplistic standpoint, and I was just talking about veganism and vegetarianism and health and fitness, I know if I was approaching it from that angle without a ton of emphasis on the supernatural and how it relates to real health, you name it, I'd probably acquire more subscribers. But due to the fact that real health and enlightenment and Kundalini go hand in hand, I mean, what's the point of watering down my content? Again, real health and enlightenment go hand in hand. Stumbling. Real health and enlightenment go hand in hand. Real health is enlightenment, and enlightenment is real health, because real health is Kundalini, and Kundalini is the body's enlightenment process taking shape and actually evolving and moving through one's system. So again, I'm not going to water down my content. There's so much that we have to learn as a species relating to health. There's so much that we have to learn as individuals about our health. We're only beginning to scrape the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we know about health and wellness and the human body. The human body is a miraculous machine. It is a massive mystery, ladies and gentlemen, because we only know fragmented little pieces about it. Yeah, we know about the bones. We know about the, the central nervous system, the parasympathetic. Let's rephrase that. We know about the bones. We know about the nervous system. We know about the cerebrospinal fluid and the tissues and the cells, but it goes much deeper than that. The meridian complex is not acknowledged in the Western world of healing and health. The supernatural qualities of the blood, the Merkaba, the nimbus, the astral and etheric aspects of our total self, our higher self. There's so much that's left out of the picture. And that's kind of an interesting and neat thing because we have so much to learn. So, although we've made a ton of progress throughout the ages in relation to medicine and, fighting off illness and this and that, we are still at such a primitive level, ladies and gentlemen. And people think that because we live on average between 60 to 90 years old, that we've achieved some grand state of evolution. And while it's true to some extent that we have evolved quite a bit, we still are so far from reaching our true potential. And that's why I focus on the emphasis of getting back to nature, taking your shoes off, getting out of the synthetic homes, going and walking barefoot on the earth, getting some electrons into your meridians, into your tissues. To me, real health and nature go hand in hand, and nature and Kundalini go hand in hand. So, by getting out into nature more, by consuming more of the natural foods, by consuming the herbs, the nuts, the barks, the extracts, the algae, the teas, we can get some nutritional elements into our bodies that are very, very, how would I put it? There are things in the herbs, there are things in the algae, there are things in the plants, the nuts, the fruits, you name it. There are minerals and elements, trace constituents, and supernatural properties that our body can actually assimilate and use. So my whole focus is about becoming more of a naturalist, but, not becoming like a dirty hippie who stinks. No. Many people regard being a naturalist as being kind of a, like a tree hugger or this. If you take herbs, you're a hippie or this and that. No, if you take herbs, if you favor naturalism, it means that you're a rational and intelligent, advanced individual. Because nature is actually much more advanced than the medicines on the market of today's current mechanized matrix. But we don't understand that because most of us have never had a glimpse into just how profound and supernatural nature really is. Most of us have never glimpsed the auras around the living shrubs, the bushes, the trees. Most of us have never communicated with a tree or seen tree branches bend and move to make shapes. Trees, while in an enlightened state, an individual can walk up to a tree and the tree can actually move its branches and make shapes and communicate with you. But we don't see that happening here in the mundane plane because while living in this city, we actually are living in a prison right next to the natural world. It's so insane to see the schism on a daily basis living here in the city between nature and the concrete jungle. So nature to a large extent tolerates us, but I don't believe it actually respects us as humans for the most part. But again, there's a lot to learn about nature, and there are some absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful aspects of nature that would make the average individual bend over and weep like a widow just to witness the beauty and just how alive this natural kingdom truly is and how precious it is. Life is a very precious thing, ladies and gentlemen. So right now we're kind of living in an environment that we don't really understand. We're living in a supernatural shamanic jungle that has been colonized by technology in primitive forms of archaic city building and electromagnetic pollution, radiation harassment and technologies. The phones are microwave emitters. There's all sorts of ELF towers, extremely low frequency towers, being erected all over the cities across the United States. In the last 5 years, I've seen them pop up everywhere. These ELF towers radiate certain energies that are insalubrious for the people and the inhabitants living within the city. But you think that stuff like this could only take place in a fucking science fiction novel, so most people regard it as being trivial or untrue, or if you talk about this stuff, you're a conspiracy theorist, because most people are very, very, I wouldn't call it ignorant. They're ignorant, let's not get that mistaken, but most people don't like to acknowledge the evil in the world around them, because it can become a frightening thing to live in a crazy world. So a lot of us resort to accepting things the way that they are while putting buffers between the truth, so that we can happily live in kind of an inoculated, desensitized world, desensitized and cut off from our higher senses and higher intuitive faculties, and we don't really feel anything or acknowledge the truth. Our metaphysical antennas have been chopped off. Our metaphysical antennas have been circumcised and chopped off, and we no longer harbor any of the divine thinking that is bestowed through Kundalini in bridging the divisions of the hemispheres of the brain-body complex. Once our brain fell from its enlightened state, the sacred space of the heart was also severed, because the two hemispheres of the brain only work in tandem with one another when the schism between them is bridged and taken away. The two become one, and when that happens, the sacred space of the heart activates and the toroidal field of the heart activates, and you experience what's known as nirvana or samadhi or Christ consciousness, Kundalini, gnosis, nirvana, whatever you want to call it. So we live in a divided state of consciousness because we no longer experience the enlightening reality of our divine, truthful physiology. I hope that makes sense. Our physiology, our bodies, our cells, they're not working properly, ladies and gentlemen. They're out of whack. They're out of alignment here in this matrix. You'll have to excuse me. My mouth is incredibly dry. But again, I talk about this stuff often because I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated because we as humans were designed with the capability to experience one state of awareness. We were designed to experience reality through the context of enlightenment, which is the truth. But we've fallen into this fragmented individual. We were these fragmented individuals who are like a puzzle that's been broken and the pieces are just scattered everywhere. And we're operating from that kind of scattered state of consciousness. And from the fragmentation, from the dividing of the real self, we've fallen away from the truth and we live in falsehood, and we live in a divided state of awareness, not only because of our how would I put this? Our physiology in the separation. Let's take a breath and rephrase that. Due to the fact that we've fallen from the truth, our body is actually the catalyst of how that happens. So when the sacred space of the heart is deactivated and the schism between the left and right lobes of the brain is initiated, we fall from that divine state that is bestowed unto us when we are in that unified state. And I say unified because when you're in that unified state of consciousness, both hemispheres are working as one. The sacred space of the heart is activated. The nimbus, the Merkaba, the aura. The nimbus is just another word for halo. But that is the unified self. That is the goal of yoga. The goal of yoga is union. And union is when you merge with your higher self. And your higher self is nothing but the truth. People ask me all the time, what's the point of trying to achieve these heightened states of consciousness? Isn't it just an escape to feel better in a crazy world? No. That's not the reason why I attempt to constantly enhance my awareness and attempt to recreate enlightenment within my system. I do so because enlightenment is what we were designed to be. We were designed to be a much higher and much purer being than we currently are. And we understand that through Kundalini. So no, I don't attempt to achieve Kundalini Christ consciousness to escape reality and to make it easier. No, it actually makes it much more difficult. It takes a big man or a woman to realize that he or she has work to do here in this dimension to try to improve his or herself and his or her consciousness. So by working towards activating Kundalini and stimulating it to rise, we are just stimulating the truth within our physiology. It's not an escape. The escape would be to remain in your current state of awareness, separated from the truth. To live in falsehood would be the escape, the easy way out. So, by becoming more human, how is that an escape? How is that an attempt to make things easier or more fun here in this crazy world? It's not fun. It's a full-time job to take care of oneself and to be a good person. It's exhausting to care. And yeah, you know, I take that back. It is fun, but it's not easy. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. But I still have so much work to do. The more I evolve, the more I realize just how much more work I have to do. It's a never-ending journey, in my opinion. But yes, it is fun, but it's not easy. And it's just crazy, like looking up right now, just seeing the skies, seeing how much the skies have changed in the last 15 years of my life is insane. The skies are now used as a eugenics weapon against the unfolding of Kundalini on the planet. You won't understand that until you realize that the constituents in these aerosols that they're spraying actually increase and accelerate the premature aging of the physical corporeal body, the corpus, the flesh body. So, again, it's deep. It's a science fiction novel. This is absolutely, in every way, shape, or form, a game, in my opinion, because we are constantly confronted with environmental pollution and factors which encourage us to increase the health of our physical body to be able to withstand and adapt to this crazy environment. So the game to me is, okay, we're being polluted heavily on all fronts. Even the clothing that we wear. Even the cars that we drive are filled with pollution. The inside, the interior. We're being polluted on all fronts. And the game to me is, okay, I can't change this, but I can change the internal state of my physiology. I can change my health. So by increasing our health, by caring about our health, we become kind of a biological adaptogen, and we can adapt to these crazy environments. And as we get healthier through our desire to become healthy, as we get healthier from consuming real foods, more real foods, because most of the foods on the market aren't real, but there are foods that are more real than the garbage that you're being sold in the supermarkets, all the processed goods with white flour. All the stuff is demineralized, denatured, enzyme devoid, you name it. But by consuming the superfoods, by getting the algae back into the tissues, by fasting, by consuming the activated charcoal, by doing particular things which can help us detoxify, we can actually grow into a new and... Let's rephrase that. By taking steps every day towards becoming healthier, we can stimulate the process of evolution. And through that, we become a new being. By eliminating the garbage in our system, by removing the heavy metals, we are letting go of aspects of ourself which were toxified, and due to that we become, in my opinion, more real, because we're letting go of the fake garbage within us that is keeping us in a state of toxicity. And through that we can actually stimulate evolution, because we are saying no to all of the poisons which are keeping the herd in a state of toxicity. So toxicity, eating standard American foods and excessive GMO, etc., is not the way to go about stimulating evolution. So my protocol is all about attempting to stimulate the evolutionary process of our physiology and our consciousness through utilizing, realizing, and applying natural law and natural order through our diet and lifestyle. So again, it's like just going out in the summer months, even in the winter months, people have their fucking sunglasses on, and it's just insane. When you wear sunglasses, you trick your brain into thinking that it's darker than it currently is. Than it is outside, excuse me. I'm going to have to wrap this one up. I'm starting to stumble. When you wear sunglasses, the muscles in your eyes become weakened. They become atrophied, because the light of this dimension actually stimulates the eyes to focus and adjust to the amount of light coming in through the retina into the eyeball. It stimulates the eye muscles when light is coming through them. So, in my opinion, sun gazing is a healthy thing if done properly. When I started sun gazing a few years ago, I noticed that when I did it properly, over time my vision became much clearer. I could see things in a much more crisp fashion. Now, your average individual would tell you that that's absolutely insane, and tell you that sunlight is damaging to the eye because they have no faith in the world that they live in. They fear the sun. But again, just seeing I know people who spend $250 on sunglasses with tint on the lenses that's so dark that it's like you're living in like the shadow world. You're like a shadow entity. When you could have spent that same $250 on a bunch of books or something salubrious to your growth, a laptop with internet access so you could research, or could have bought a fucking camera and done something creative. The way people spend money is weird to me. Primarily it's due to the fact that I am somewhat financially strapped at the moment. So when I go to like a supermarket, or if I go to like an electronics store and I see people spending all this money on these silly gadgets, when I go to a place like Costco, I was there today, and I saw people spending hundreds of dollars on things that would never ever help them achieve a greater state of health. So due to the fact that I'm financially strapped at the moment, I'm constantly looking at the situations and circumstances around me with people and going, God, I could invest that money in such greater ways. Why do they have money? Why do they have more money than me? But that's changing. My financial situation is changing massively. And, I knew that if I followed the path that I wanted to follow with the Kundalini, etc., it was going to test my patience with money, because there was a lot of things that I had to go through in my life without having a job in my early 20s and mid 20s. So I've created my own business. I do my own thing. And I always knew that if I was patient and if I stayed diligent with my work and my studies, it would pay off. And I'm starting to see that, and it feels good. So I don't think most people could handle what I've been through and the sacrifices that I've made. I think most people are too afraid of embarrassment from rejecting what the society wants you to become. But if you do have faith in yourself, if you do have the balls to say no to the fear, you can tread your own path and do what makes you happy, even though it may be difficult at times, and even though it may cause you to be kind of maybe embarrassed, or it might make your bank account somewhat low for a while, but there's beauty in that. There's beauty in struggling, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, the story would be boring. What are you fighting for? There's got to be some opposing force in your life to inspire you to resist. So, I'm going to wrap this one up. I have a new fancy SD card in my my GoPro here, and I'm hoping that it works the way that it says it will. My old SD card, the camera wouldn't record in 1080p for more than like 7 minutes, and in 720p it would stop recording at about 19 minutes. So I'm hoping with this fancier 32 gigabyte extreme style, whatever the fuck, SD card, excuse me, hopefully I can use this camera to the max and really get the most life out of it, or the most use out of it, excuse me. So, just going to wrap this one up. I do have, I'm glad I looked over because I did want to mention this stuff. This is hawthorn berries. This was a pound. These are from Croatia, and these are whole berries. You can grind these into a powder with like a coffee grinder. What I like to do is I like to boil them for about 5 minutes and then turn the stove on low for about 20 minutes and drink this with cayenne pepper added to it. Hawthorn berry is considered a heart herb, even though it's a berry, and it works synergistically with cayenne pepper. Hawthorn, cayenne, and lobelia are 3 of my go-to herbs. I love lobelia, I love cayenne pepper, and I love hawthorn. But I do utilize a handful of different herbs and constituents: the hibiscus, the different forms of algae, the spirulina, the chlorella, the Aphanosomum flossaqua blue-green algae, also known as AFA blue-green algae. I believe in the power of garlic, regardless of what people are going to tell you out here. There are so many people who have made a tremendous impact on their life with reversing illnesses with the right forms of garlic. I'm not saying that it is something that should be used every day with cooking. It will make you stink, and it will cause BO. But if you prepare it properly in a tincture, if you mix it with the cayenne pepper, it does help clean the blood. It is a tremendous anti-parasitic, and it kills viruses. There are a handful of different uses for properly formulated, properly grown, and properly granulated and powdered garlic. But I believe in the false unicorn root, the burdock, the alfalfa, the schizandra berry, just the astragalus, the tribulus terrestris, the alfalfa, the cat's claw, the yohimbe bark, the goji, the lycium, also known as wolfberry. There's so many things that you can begin experimenting with to attempt to become healthier. If you set an intention for yourself to become healthier with natural constituents like the herbs, you name it, if you just set that intention in your heart is like a compass that reacts to all of your desires, wants, and needs. And if you just place that intention in your heart, you will be led to the right stuff. So I was led to cayenne pepper. Some people are led to things like alfalfa or yohimbe. The beautiful thing about herbs is it seems like everyone has their own personal herb that's related to their cellular constitution. So each person has their own kind of unique herb that resonates with their genetic predisposition, you name it, and constitution. So personally, mine is cayenne pepper and a few other ones, but some people have miraculous results with things like uva versi or simple cloves, or again lobelia. But anyways, I need to go get some water. My mouth is fucking dry as hell. On behalf of the Sacred Starseed Serpent Uraeus YouTube channel, thank you for watching this video. I hope that my videos, my channel, and my messages and my passion can help inspire you today to rekindle the flame in your heart for your health. There is nothing more important than your health. I repeat this often because repetition of a message does constitute mental programming. There's nothing more important than your health, ladies and gentlemen. It is the foundation in your life that everything else rests upon. And if you don't have a strong foundation, well, shit. The appliances on top of your foundation might fall through. Or your house might fucking break apart when there's a storm, metaphorically speaking. So the foundation to all supernatural practices like Kundalini and Merkaba mysticism lies on your foundation, and you have to have a stable, healthy mind and body to start practicing what sits on top of the foundation. And health is the bottom. It is the absolute foundation that everything else in your life rests upon. What good is having dreams, aspirations, and desires, goals, you name it, if you don't have the energy and time or desire to get out of bed in the morning and fucking tackle this shit head on like a tiger hunting its prey? We need to fucking resist the genetic warfare that's being pushed upon us through these eugenics programs. Peace be with you.